Toka Khan-Clary, thank you very much for being here on theboxingbar.com and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Where were you born and raised, man?
I was born in Liberia. I was kind of raised in the United States.
And what was it like being raised over there?
It was kind of different for me because I was kind of a little kid. Came here when I was like 5, 6 years old, and I really don't remember much. But I got families and friends that from out there, and they tell me what I was doing when I was a kid and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting.
And when you got here to the United States, what part of the United States did you come to?
When I first came to the United States, I was in Philadelphia.
And what was it like being raised growing up out of Philadelphia? It's considered to be a very tough place to be raised from.
First couple of weeks I came, it was nice. First time I seen snow, that was different for me, so that got me feeling a little weird, but I got used to seeing snow. It was definitely different atmosphere for me, so I liked it. And as I got older in Philly, things started to change a little bit. My father was kind of a street man, and he kind of like showed me like how to grow up and stuff like that. Kind of a little bit, not so much though.
Were you guys pretty tight as a family?
Not tight. I mean, we were average. We would sit high and by, we'd talk, and like the grown-ups would give us advice and stuff like that. But other than that, everything was good. I can't complain.
At what point did you get into boxing? Is he the one that got you into doing boxing?
Oh, no, I actually became involved in boxing when I came to Rhode Island.
And why did you leave Philadelphia to Rhode Island?
My father had passed away, and we moved to Rhode Island to an auntie house where we were living on Charles Street, Providence on Charles Street, where I really grew up and started really maturing to a man, you'll say.
How did you get into boxing there in Rhode Island? Did somebody get you into boxing there?
Yeah, at that time, I was staying with a friend, two couples, Jared and Lori. My friend Jared, he was always go to the gym, and we would be playing on the street, be doing crazy stuff and getting into street fights and stuff like that. And he actually seen me get into a street fight, and he was like, and some of the punches I was throwing, I didn't really know what I was doing, but he was already boxing, and he seen that I was a southpaw, and he said, you could be good in boxing, you should come to the gym with me. And I think it was a Monday or Tuesday, I followed him to the gym. I sat down, when we got to the gym, and he introduced me to Pete. I sat down while so many different fighters spar, hit the bag, do different things and stuff, and I liked that. I felt like I could do what they were doing, and at the end of the day, when they were done, he told Pete about me, and from there, Pete told me to come in the next day. Me and Pete had a conversation. He told me that boxing, when you box, you can't go out there street fighting. At the time, I wasn't too sure about that because I did a lot of street fighting, and I understood what he was talking about because I can't make him look bad. So after that, I just kept on going to the gym, and from there, that's where I was.
And so you learned it was boxing was a pretty much a disciplinary sport.
Yeah, it was very disciplined.
Did you watch boxing prior to that? Like, while you said you were doing all the street fighting, was boxing at all into your life, or did you ever watch it on TV?
I seen boxing on TV, but I didn't like it. I just couldn't understand. I never really sat down and watched boxing at all till I started boxing.
How about Peter Manfredo? Obviously, he had a son that boxed.
Yeah.
Did that at all come into play while he was teaching you how to do boxing? Did he at all, show you his films or start teaching you about the sport of boxing?
You talking about Peter Jr.?
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I first started boxing, they had the TV show, The Contender. I'm sure you heard about it.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my real boxing tape. That's when I really started watching boxing on TV, The Contender. And I seen Peter on TV, which was cool because I saw him in the gym. And at that time, I ain't never seen nobody on TV that I knew in real life. So I found that real cool to see him on TV. And I watched The Contender a lot. And I was surprised to see him on TV. And they was talking about he was the best. He was the top contender on the show at that time. And I seen how hard he was working. And at that time, he wasn't in our gym. He was in a different gym in Cali. And I seen how hard he was working, and it just motivated me.
And actually, I went to the finals for that particular Contenders, where he made it to the finals there.
Yeah.
Once you started boxing, would you say you were a natural when you first started, or did you have to pretty much work at it to become good?
People tell me that I got a lot of natural abilities, but I was kind of like, you could say I had fast hands, but I didn't really know how to use my hands. I would just throw punches before, and as Peter kept working with me one-on-one, he sharpened me up. He showed me so many things that I never thought I was able to do or will be able to do in boxing, and he just made me into the kind of fighter I am today. From the time I pulled boxing over my hands, he always been the man that taught me how to box. So.
And from then on, did you at all start watching boxing on TV and get into who the fighters were and stuff like that?
Yeah, after that, I just went on YouTube and watched a whole bunch of boxing tape, boxing fight, old school fighters, and I just started doing a lot of research in boxing. And it was interesting, like, because boxing changes at, like, every century. There's the styles and the fighters, and there's so many different things in boxing that, like, a lot of people who really think boxing is just one dimensional, they don't really know the art form it takes to be a boxer, and it is different.
Absolutely. And what do you remember about your first amateur fight? What do you remember about going in there for the first time? Were you pretty nervous?
My first amateur fight was, I'm trying to remember this. I was definitely nervous. I was fighting. It felt like I wasn't in a ring. It felt like I was daydreaming. It's like I couldn't focus, but they said I was hitting to do a good shot. I give them standing 8 counts and stuff, but I really didn't know what I was doing. My eyes was like, felt like I was in a dream or something.
And after that, like, let's say after your first, several fights in, did you start getting more comfortable with, of course, the crowd being there and your boxing ability, improving? Did you start feeling all that as time went?
As time went on, my first couple of fights, I guess I was stopping kids in the novice division, and I like the film stopping fighters, and I just got comfortable with it. And in my gym, we got so many good fighters at that time. We had there was the Olympian Jason Estrada. We had Matt Godfrey, Peter Manfredo, and Boo Boo was in there. We had so many good fighters that we could learn from, and we seen how they did it. So that kind of helped me out a lot too. Those guys and seeing how they did it, and I sat and watched how they was fighting. It helped me out. So when it was my time to fight, I tried to learn from what they did and how they was throwing their punches and stuff. So I just try to mimic them and throw my punches like they did.
Now at this point, what is your amateur record? If you could share that with us.
I got 11 amateur losses and 119 wins.
What are your medals like?
I got I won the National Golden Glove in 2010. In 2009, it was my first time in the Golden Glove. I went to the finals. I lost to Robert Rodriguez. He's now professional. I'm not sure about his record. And the year after that, 2010, I went back determined. I was like, I'm not about to lose back to back. And so I went back in 2010. I won the whole thing. And that same year was my first time in the U.S. Championship. I came in 4th place. And then the following years, I came in 2nd place. I lost to Jose Ramirez, who is the Olympian right now. And then I got an opportunity to participate in the Pan American qualifier. I won that, and we went to several different countries to participate in the qualifiers again. The first qualifier, I lost into Panama City. I lost in Panama. No, in Venezuela, I lost in Venezuela. And then there was a second qualifier in Panama, which I won. I qualified. I won out there.
At this point, are you ready? Now you're about to hit the pros. You're already signed by Top Rank, who is, of course, a big banner to be fighting under. You're going to go into your pro debut on a big stage, the night before a Pacquiao fight there in Las Vegas under a Kelly Pavlik fight, who is training here in Oxnard where I'm at. And so, of course, I'm going to be there for that particular night, so I'm going to see you fight that night. Are you ready, and how are you getting prepared to make that transition from your amateur to a professional career?
I'm 110, 120% ready right now. My training now, we work hard. That's all we do is work hard. My style of fighting, a lot of people tell me I got a similar pro style because my trainer, Peter Manfredo, he got a lot of pro fighters, and he prefers to train us, when I was in amateur, to train me as like he trains his pros. And like not move around a lot, like keep your feet planted, turn into your punches. And so a lot of people tell me I got a pro style already. So what I'm trying to do from here now is just forget the amateurs, like I got to turn into my punches and stuff like that. And by me fighting on Kelly Pavlik, I'm definitely excited. A lot of nervous. I'm nervous a lot, but I'm definitely excited about it. I get to prove to people that, to show them who I am and how far I came in the boxing game. And hopefully I could surprise a lot of people and turn a lot of heads out there so people can get to know who I am as well as everything else.
And actually, you're being compared by a lot of people to a boxer from the 1984 Olympics, Melder Taylor, who was from Pennsylvania and had very fast hands and was, to a lot of people, one of the most exciting fighters of the 80s and 90s.
I'm being compared to Melder Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy about that. I ain't never heard that before, but I don't know. But that's a great thing, and I just gotta follow his footsteps, I guess, and do what he did and become a world champion as well. I'm excited about the position I'm in. I think if I keep working hard, I will pursue greatness in the boxing game as well too.
What do you think about all that lighter gloves? You know, without the headgear, of course, you're going to take hard punches to the face and to the head and to the body, and of course, without the T-shirt and all that. Or how are you looking forward to, or not looking forward to, that transition?
In our training camp, we spar with no headgear, and I like it. I actually like sparring, fighting with no headgear because your vision is so much lot better, and your head movement is, you gotta be you so much more careful, and you can't take no risks. You gotta keep them hands up, move them head at all time, be 100% careful and focused. So fighting without a headgear, yeah, I'm nervous, but because I always fought with headgear on, but I'm also ready for it because I have a lot of sparring, and the guys that help me out, that I spar with in the gym, that I spar with one of the best in the country. I feel like I got the best sparring partners in the country, and those guys, by me sparring them, I think I'll be all right. I'll be great when time time to fight.
Thank you very much for being on here on the BoxingBar.com, Toka. I hope we could talk after your first fight so you could let us know how that went. Very much all the good luck in the world to you, man. And of course, I'm going to be there, and I hope to see you there, man.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Toka. We'll talk to you later, my man.